What's up guys, I'm back with another tutorial video, and today I'm going to show you how to use external APIs in your Discord bot. So what this is going to allow you to do is add extra functionality to your bot that you don't even really have to write, you just have to integrate into your bot. To show you what I mean, I'll show you into my Discord. So if you guys don't know, we have a Discord for this channel, Even More Codes server. You can come here if you ever need help on any of the code in any of the videos. You can also just be a part of the community, maybe help other people. But I'm also going to show you the bot that we have in this server is the EMC bot, which I added, and this is going to actually show you guys future commands that are going to be in videos. So if you ever want to test out any of the commands that are in my videos before you implement them, you can go to the Discord and test them out on the bot yourself. So to show you what we're going to do today is we're going to create a new command, 3 new commands actually. The first command is going to be a fun command that will just give you a quote of the day. And this is coming from a quote API that we will integrate into your bot. So that's going to be the simplest version of using an API. But a step above that is getting images from an API. So to illustrate that, we have a command I call rando doggo. And this will allow you to get a random photo of a dog. And this is just to demonstrate that you can get an image. And so every time you call this command, it's going to give you a different dog image, just a random image. And this is just from a dog API. The third one, which is a little bit more complex than both those examples, so I'm going to show you how to make a command where you will be allowed to enter any name of any movie, for example, Shrek, and it's going to give us all the information pertaining to that movie, including the title, the description, runtime rating, all the things, genre, box office, and even a picture, the poster picture of the movie. So if you guys want to learn how to add these superpowers into your bot, make sure to watch till the end of the video. We're going to go through all 3 of them, starting with the quotes. Now this one is by far the easiest. So I found this API, I just looked up on Google, quote of the day API. That's literally all I looked up. And I found this website called zenquotes.io. If you scroll down here, you can see they have different request types. The one I'm going to use is this one, which generates the quote of the day on each request. So let's go over to our code editor and let's create new commands. And I'm going to create a new fun category. So I'm not going to call these utilities. I'm just going to say this is fun commands. We'll leave greet in the utility. And then let's create a new file for quote. And this will be the quote of the day command. So first, let's start out this code just like any other slash command. We'll say const and then take slash command builder. We will equal that to require discord.js. So we got to import slash command builder from discord.js. So there's the first line, and now the next line is a new import. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to go down to the terminal and we're going to want to install a new npm package. So if you guys have ever used APIs before, you may know what this is, but we will want to do npm install Axios. So Axios is going to be used to make these API calls pretty easily. So we just say const Axios once you have that installed equals require Axios. So now that we got Axios, let's continue with our slash commands. So module.exports, just like all of our other slash commands, data new slash command builder. And then we will set the name of this to quote. Now you can call this command whatever you want. You can call it daily quote or whatever, but for now, just for testing purposes, I'm just going to call it quote. Let's set the description, and the description is going to be, it gives you the quote of the day. Easy peasy. And then now let's go ahead and write the execute for this function. So we're going to take an interaction as normal. So first things first, guys, since we are using APIs, basically there will be some response delay between us sending the API request and then us retrieving the response back to actually get what we're asking for. And Discord by default will expect a response pretty quickly from the command. But if you know you are going to have to wait, what you can do is you can defer the reply. So we're going to say await interaction.defer reply. And this is just telling Discord, hold on a second, let me do some calculation, let me do some kind of request, and we will reply soon, but not immediately. So next we are going to do the API request. Now API requests can also sometimes occur in errors. Sometimes you might not get what you expect. Maybe their API is down, maybe you reached a limit, maybe your key was expired, any of these examples. So what we're going to do just for safety reasons is we're going to wrap this all in a try and catch. So the format of a try and catch is like this: try, curly braces, catch. You're going to catch the error, and then you're going to have some code if you catch the error. So let's handle this case first. Let's say there is an error. If there is an error, then I'm just going to say await interaction.edit reply. And I'm just going to say unable to get the quote of the day. And we will just leave it like that. So you could also print the error in your message if you wanted. But for now, we're just going to go super general message that it was unable to get the quote of the day. But you can console.error or log the error just for your own self in your Discord terminal. So now let's go to the try, and now this is all we're going to do for the request. And it's pretty crazy because we're going to be able to do this in only 3 lines of code. So what we're going to say is const response, and then we're going to call the API. So await, and then we're going to bring in axios.get because this is a get request. So we're going to get, and then we have to go to that website and get the link that you want to request. And so I want to request this one, which is the API for today's quote. Paste that in there. Then we're just going to extract what we need from that. But since this is the first time we've used this, all we're going to do is we're going to say console.log response. And then let's just send them back this random reply, because right now we're just testing. So we just want to console.log what is the response that we get back from this API call. So let's do node deploy commands in the terminal. So we're just going to deploy that command, and then let's start up the bot. So now the bot is online. Then go to the server where your bot is, which is my test server. And then I am going to do the command / and let's see, there it is, /quote. So let's see what we get. So it says testing. So that means it did fetch a response. It didn't get an error, but let's see what we're printed out. So we did console.log response here, and this looks like the entire response. So what you guys will notice is you get a lot of gibberish, right? You get a lot of gibberish, but you want to find what the data that is sent back is. So you'll look for a key that's called data, and Axios puts always everything you need in data. So let's see if we can find it. We'll just go through all this. Okay, it was at the very bottom. Here it is, data. So we have this key data. So, and then it gives us the quote. So it looks like it calls it Q for the quote. It calls it A for, I'm assuming, the author, and then H, which is for the block quote version of that. So we will just use the Q in the A. So the quote in the author. How you access this, because response is an object, is we're going to extract const. And also notice, guys, in this specific case, data is an array. So data is an array, so what we'll say is const, and we'll extract Q for and we'll call this quote, and then A as author. So those are the 2 key names, Q and A, from here. And then where is that coming from? That's going to be response.data. So that's data. And then it's an array, right? So we got to take the first index. So data, and then brackets 0. And so that should be this string, and this string should be assigned to those variables. Now let's double check this real quick. So I'm just going to console.log quote, then I'm going to do console.log author. just to ensure that we are correct. So stop your server and then just restart it. And then let's go back to the bot. Let's do the quote again. Got testing. Check our terminal, and there we go. We got the quote, and then we got the author. So we extracted that successfully out of the API. Now all we have to do is format the message we want. And we can just say, let's do string literals since we're going to add in variables. So we'll put quotes around the actual quote, and we'll say quote, pretty simple. And then we'll just say dash author. There you go. And that's basically it. We can remove these testing console logs now. And look at that, pretty concise code for just such a cool command. Let's turn off our bot, turn it back on. Let's go to Discord, and now if we do /quote, there we go. The eyes of others are prisons. Their thoughts are cages, by Virginia Woolf. Wow. What an introspective quote. So that's the quote of today. And yeah, looks like that works. So we've supercharged our bot with this quote. Now this is cool, and hopefully you guys learned something just of how to incorporate an API, using Axios. Of course, you could replace this with any API you want. Pokemon API, an anime API, literally any API, just get data. So I'm going to show you another example, but this example is going to be the dog example where you can actually get images. This was just to get text. So I would also like to show you how can you find these APIs, because a lot of APIs cost money, but there are quite a few free ones out there. So I would say go to this website. I'll link it in the description below. It's called API Feni. Not sure if that's how you say it, but this is just a list of free APIs, 90 plus public APIs for testing, and no key required. In our last example, I'll show you how to use a key and how to connect to an API when we get to the movie one. You can look through all these APIs, think about if this would fit into your bot, or if you just want to do something for fun. You see there's a Bitcoin price, there's a random cat facts, all these random ones, but the one we're going to use is dogs. So cheer yourself up with some random dog images. This is just a free API where you request this URL, which is dog.ceo API breeds image random, and it will return you this JSON with a message, and it just has a link to an image. That's it. Let's extract that and turn that into a command. So let's go to VS Code and let's create a new command under fun. And we're going to say dog.js. Now we're going to do a very similar thing to what we did before. So let's do another /command builder. And we're going to take this from discord.js. Then we're going to want to bring in Axios, of course, and this is for anytime you use an API, Axios. Then let's do module.exports. Now, the more you guys build /commands, the more you'll see, you'll get the hang of this, creating these /commands from scratch. You'll start to understand the format better. So data, new /command builder. Then you go over, do set name, and we will call this dog. And then set description, and we'll say gives you a random dog photo. There you go. Now let's do the execute portion of this function. Interaction. And so just like in the quote command, we're going to first await interaction.defer reply. Then we're going to add a try and catch. So you do try, then at the bottom catch. You want to catch the error. Let's console.log the error. And then let's say await interaction.edit reply unable to get a random dog photo. Async is spelled incorrectly. Okay, there we go. So now let's write the logic for this. So we'll say const response, and it's going to be the same way we did the other one. Await axios.get, and then this is going to be the link of your API. So let's go to here, copy the random dog URL. And we're just going to paste this as a string right there. And then let's see what we get. So let's console.log response. This time let's just do response.data because that's always where your data is going to be. And so let's see what we get here. Of course, do the same thing, await interaction.edit reply, and we'll just say test. So let's go down to our terminal and let's deploy our command. So node deploy commands.js. Okay. And let's then run our bot. It's running. So we should now see this new command here, /dog. There it is. And it says test, so that means it worked. And look what we got. So this is response.data. And then we get, just like we saw in the browser, we get a message and then a status. We don't really need to do anything with the status. We just want the message. So we'll just extract the message. So what we'll say is const message, which is the key that we're needing to take out. We'll rename it to photo URL equals response.data. There we go. We can remove the console log. And then for this image, let's create an embed because embeds you can actually add images to pretty easily. So we'll just say embed equals, let's do a title for the embed. We'll just say random doggo photo just for you. And then we will add an image, and so an image needs to be an object. If you guys want to see more about embeds, I have an embed video, goes over all the fields in embeds on my channel. Make sure to go check that out. But for now, we'll just add a URL as the key into the image object, and then this will be that photo URL that we are extracting from the API. So photo URL. Then let's send back this embed in the response. So you'll just do an object here and you'll say embeds and then put inside of an array just this first embed. And that is it. So now if we restart the bot, we should have a random dog photo. There we go in the response. So yeah, that's how you just put random photos, and every single time you call this, the API should give us a different image. So there you go. Bunch of doggo photos. Very, very cool stuff. Now the last example is going to be an even more complicated one because this one will require an API key. But I want to go over with you guys so you know, because there's going to be a lot of APIs out there that do require keys, just so you can see exactly how to do that inside of your Discord bot. Buckle up for this last example. And yeah, now we're going to show you how to do a more complicated command. So I found this API, OMDB API, which is kind of like IMDb, but it's an open movie database. And this gives us a bunch of information about a bunch of different movies. Now, what you can see on the website is you send all the data requests to this URL. So it's their link, and then you need to pass as a parameter API key with your key. And then you can pass different search terms. So now for something like this, you're going to need to, read the website of your choice, whatever API you're trying to integrate, and you're gonna have to read how to get an API key. It looks like you can get a free account for this movie API. It just has 1,000 daily limit, but for us, that's gonna be totally fine. We'll never exceed that 1,000 daily limit. So you can create an account and get an API key. I will do that now. Okay, so upon creating an account, you should receive an email just like this from the OMDB API. It should just have the subject of the email as API key, and it will just say, here's your key. So it just says, please append it to all your API requests, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it basically gives us exactly what we need here. And then if you want to activate your key, you just have to click this link. I have already done that. So we'll just need to keep this key. So copy this key, and then let's go to your code and go to your config or your env, whatever you're using. And we're just going to create a new variable in here, and we're going to call this movie API key. And we're just going to save this right in here. And then let's create a new file, and we're going to call this movie.js. And then we're going to do all the same things that we have done in the last one. So / command builder equals require discord.js. Const Axios equals require Axios. We're just going through the motions at this point, but now we're going to also take that API key. So movie API key equals require ... and then go all the way to your config.json. Now we're going to do everything else like normal, module.exports. This should be second nature to you guys at this point. Data new / command builder over set name. This one we're just going to call movie. Then let's set the description. And yeah, like I said, guys, this command is going to be a little bit more complicated. So get information about a movie. Okay. And here we're now going to add a string option because we need to take in the title of the movie that you guys saw at the beginning of my demonstration. Add string option, and we're going to take the option. We are then going to say option.setName title. So this is going to add that little prompt for the / command so that it will actually prompt the user to type in a string because we called it a string option. Then you just have to do option and then in an arrow function. I use parentheses here. You don't have to, but I just do it for, more cleaner code, I guess, and just readability. Then option.setName title. And so this is going to be the title of the movie that we're asking for. And then we can set a description, the title of the movie, so that they actually know what that means. And then the title of the movie. And then last of all, we're going to set this as required. So this is a required field. We cannot execute this without it. So let's go out of it, and now let's do the execute. So we'll execute interaction, and then await interaction dot defer reply, just like all the others. And then before we get to the try and catch, let's first get that movie title that they sent in. So const movie title equals interaction dot option. So this is the options that you added. And then we have to say get string because this was a string option. And then we'll pass in the name that we gave it, which is title. So that will now hold whatever the user inputted into the movie title option. And then the const API URL, let's just put it here for easy keeping. Let's go back to here. And let's see, what was that URL? Right here. We'll just take the base URL. Base URL, and we'll paste it as a string. So there's our API URL. And now let's do the try and catch. So catch the error just like normal. Just like normal, then we will console.log, or you can use console.error. And I'll just say error fetching movie data. And then this time, let's just print out the error with it. And then we are going to say await interaction dot edit reply. There was an error while fetching the movie information. First, let's make the request. So we'll say const response equals await Axios dot get. So just like the other ones, it's going to be a dot get. We're going to pass in the API URL, and then this is how you add parameters. So if we go back to the website, do you see how it's saying $API key? So that's saying it's expecting a parameter called API key. You have to match the casing, so all lowercase. And this question mark just means key value, and then and means any other values after that. And the way you can do that in Axios is you just do the API URL and then you do an object here. And we can just say params, because those are all parameters. And we can say API key, all lowercase, because that's how it was on the website. And we can pass our movie API key. Then we have to check the website again. How do we send a movie title? See this movie title to search for, and we have to pass it with the parameter t. And we also have all these other parameters we could use, but for our API request, we're just going to use the title. So we just have to pass in another param called t, and this is going to be the movie title that the user entered. So we're basically making the user make a API request. They just don't know it. So there we go. We're going to pass the title. And then I'm not sure exactly what we're going to get from this. Just like you might not if you're using an API for the first time. So let's just console.log the response.data. And just so Discord doesn't get mad at us, we'll do await interaction.edit reply test. Okay. And then let's do the same thing again. Let's deploy the commands. Let's start up the bot again. Let's go to Discord and let's do the new command. It should be /movie. It takes in a title. We'll say Shrek. It says there was an error while fetching the movie information. So let's check that out. And we got a 404. A 404 response. And so I'm just going to show you guys, I'm going to keep this error in the video. So a 404 response means that this request was not found, which means we might have a problem with our API. Let me check the website one more time. Oh, okay, I see. I copied the poster API request, but those require a paid account. I actually need this URL. So let's go back to the code, fix the URL real quick. That's the good thing about making a variable. It's very easy to change up here and all our code should work. So let's restart our bot one more time. And let's see if that fixed it. So movie title Shrek. Okay, that seemed to fix it. We got test. Let's go to the code. And this is the response. So wow. Look at all this information we get back about this movie. This is the response.data that we printed out right here on line 28. Wow, so we got a lot of properties back about this movie, but we now get to pick and choose which ones we want to use. So first, let's just check real quick. What happens if we use this /movie with something that doesn't exist? It will say test, okay. And then let's check the response, and it says response false, error, movie not found. So I think if we get an error from this API request, which they send back as error, then we probably should just print that out to the user because they put a movie that doesn't exist. So let's just assign the data to movie data. So we'll say const movie data equals response.data. Okay. We'll remove the console log, and then now let's say if movie data dot, and then we'll see the key. I don't know why this API decides to use uppercase letters in their key names, but we're gonna have to live with it. So capital E error, then we're gonna say await interaction dot edit reply, and then we can say error with backticks, so we can add movie data dot error, capital E. So that's very interesting that's capital, but what can we do? And then let's return from there if that happens. Let's just test that out real quick. We'll restart our bot, go to Discord, and let's run that command with a random movie title. Error, movie not found. Okay, perfect. So that handles those errors pretty gracefully. Let's just add all this information into a single embed to be like a little profile for each movie. So we'll say const embed, and again, I'll say it one more time. I have a video on all the properties and how to make embeds, so go watch that if you ever get confused. But we will add a color. So I believe this is like a dark maroon color. So the way you can add color codes is just add 0x and then the hex code. So 8 1 2 3, 4, 5. So that's 6 letters. So we'll make the color that dark maroon. Let's do the title will be movie data dot title. And again, you have to get all these keys from here. So we have the title here, dot title. So yeah, let's just look at the keys while we do this. And then we'll do description, and then where would be the description? Right here for plot. So it would be movie data dot capital P plot. Then let's add the thumbnail. So this will be the little image that's on the right side. So with embeds, you have to do thumbnail as an object with a URL, and that will be the poster, which is a link to an image. So URL will be movie data dot capital P poster. And then the final one, let's just put how much money the movie made. So let's add box office value movie data dot box office. So capital B box office. It's right there. Wow, Shrek made a lot of money, $268 million. Very nice, very nice. So there's our entire embed. I don't think we need to add any more than that. That's already a lot of properties. So now let's just send that in the response. So edit reply, we're going to say embeds. It's going to be an array of one single embed. And that should be it for the entire code. All right, let's see. Let's open up our terminal, turn it off, turn it back on. Then let's go to Discord and let's do /movie. Let's do Avengers. See if it works. And there we go, the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes must come together. And there we got the little poster there. The runtime looks like all the data is there. Yeah, $623 million box office. There you go, guys. That's how you integrate 3 different APIs in one video. Hopefully you guys saw different examples of what you can do with this bot. Again, all my videos are hopefully to inspire you to get creative and use it in your own way. Just try to understand the concepts that I'm teaching. Hopefully you now understand how to integrate any API into your Discord bot. The possibilities are so endless. If you have any suggestions about new features, let me know in the comments or in my Discord. I'm going to be posting videos every single Monday. More tutorials, more things I want to show you guys. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Stick around for the next one. See you guys. Bye.